we get with this before the connection goes out, which may happen because it's been flashing. Hello everyone, Del21 here. Mason, I wanted to make this quick, but I'm actually waiting for Sonic, so I'm trying to waste as much time as I can. Just got off of work, so any slur, incomplete speech, or whatever, it's not totally my fault. But if anyone's unaware, ChaseonTwoWheels has a wreck bike rebuild series. He's currently on season 2. The motorcycle in question that is for this season had hidden damage that I, like a year ago, not found out about at the last minute like he did, but I actually went into the negotiation of actually getting the bike that I have currently, of knowing that I had the same issue he has. That issue is frame damage. He's opting out, at least last upload I watched, which, by the way, to get that series live and before anyone else, you have to be part of Patreon and Discord, which you can go to ChaseonTwoWheels' channel and subscribe. Well, he's opting out to change the frame, which is a pretty good idea. Actually, it's an excellent idea. The amount of damage to it, I didn't really see clearly because I was using my phone, but the amount of damage to it could be repaired. However, with him choosing the better route of changing the frame, yes, that's a better route, because I've got experience repairing those and they're not fun. And then you don't really completely repair it. You still have the micro fractures in it. And if someone's an easy rider, that whoever ends up getting it, if they're an easy rider, it'll never affect them. But if you're watching the Wreck Bike Rebuild channel, if you're following ChaseonTwoWheels, if you're following any moto vlogger in general, and I don't mean like you're following one because you found their videos, you found one and then you're searching for others, and you've got, like I do, several upon many other motor vloggers that are on your channel, then you don't typically ride your bike easy all the time. I don't think anyone that has a motorcycle really rides their bike easy all the time. Food for thought. The motorcycle is, I'm not going to actually say what it is because I don't know if I'm allowed to say that or not. I don't know. I'm just going to say it's a newer bike and it's a sport bike. And it doesn't really matter what kind of bike it is or what year it is. The method is going to be the same, just maybe more nuts and bolts and hoses to unhook. But my bike is a 2007 FZ6. The bike I bought it for $400. It had 4,670 miles on it. This bike was totaled. Fortunately, he never let the insurance get a hold of it, so it came back with a clean title, certified title. However, the frame, the way the FZ6 is made, actually, how long? It's been 4 minutes. The subframe is independent, and it also bolts to the main frame. Well, short of the subframe being twisted, which was at the time a $40 to $50 part, the main frame, where the ears that the subframe bolt to are broken. They were sheared off. So the only way to fix this is to try to not tack it, but to repair it or replace the entire frame. Now, this is not an ideal thing to do. It's not. Mine was completely and utterly destroyed, the one I bought. It was to the point where the forks were bent, radiator, the overflow bottle was gone. What else? The subframe, trash. Gas tank, trash. windscreens, basically everything on the front trash. And the FC6 has a center stand on it. So without that center stand being down, the motorcycle flexed. Well, actually, it folded, literally, like a banana without the kickstand down. So the kickstand had to be down, the center stand, for the bike to be sitting straight. So that's how broken in half the bike was. So it had to need a frame. My word of advice with that, there's nothing entirely difficult. Don't get me wrong. It's still a 6, depending on how you chank it out and how you do it and how many people help you and what tools you have, if you do any specialty tools, and also how, not in depth, it's a more complicated word I want to use, intrusive. It depends on how intrusive you actually get into working on this bike to remove the engine from the frame. Because on that bike I had to do a complete frame swap on top of the new bearings in the triple tree, new forks, basically everything suspension wise except the main swing arm, except that everything else had to be taken out and replaced. And my car hop's here.
Hey, how you doing?
All right.
There we go. You got the double cheeseburger, fries, and a shake?
Yes.
Okay, there you go. You have a great day.
All right, thank you.
Thanks.
She came out with like 2 things of bags, and I was like, oh my god, I didn't order that. She came out with 2 drinks. I'm like, oh my god, I didn't pay for that. Yeah, but apparently, yeah. But let's get her going, shall we? I hit my head really hard, even with the helmet on. Hard hat, whatever you're gonna call it. I left my hat at work. No, I did not. All right. But it depends really on how intrusive you actually get with your with this build. How do I switch it into neutral? If, like with my motorcycle, what I did, of course, it's a little bit simpler with the FC6, because with the FC6 are more of a sport touring naked bike than the actual bike that you actually have. So if you, oh, good Jesus. If you actually go with my method, which by myself, it took me 6 to 8 hours to disassemble the frame, put together a new frame, well, yeah, put together the new frame, subframe, swing arm, and all of that, install the motor, and, well, the engine. Well, I say motor because it's not just an engine, is it? It's the engine and transmission assembly. But you have the engine and basically the triple tree and everything. It took me 6 to 8 hours replacing all of that and having the bike still not drivable, obviously, because I don't have a, you know, it wasn't registered at the time, and it wasn't the front fairings and everything. I could get on it and go down the road and come back to test ride it, but actually saying it was road legal, no. But I was able in 6 to 8 hours from the time I put my first wrench on it to when I got the frame completely replaced, and was able to turn the key and start it, was when I can say mechanically, the bike was mechanically sound in 6 to 8 hours. But I didn't go completely intrusive into that build. Well, I say build, but it's a continuing build. Mechanically, the bike is sound now. I didn't remove our, obviously I removed the radiator, the fluids, and something else. Triple tree and all that stuff, obviously. But on the engine, I left all the electrical to the engine, the exhaust, all of that, all wiring. When I say all wiring harnesses, it's got like 3 or 4 wiring harnesses on the FC6. All wiring harnesses were left attached to the engine, that went to the engine and around the engine. And I just bolted every electrical part that was on the actual bike and just slid it through whatever cubby hole it had and put it in place. So that took me 6 to 8 hours doing it. Again, that wasn't intrusive. I didn't go in there and unplug every single thing like you actually should do and go about it that way. And one of the biggest reasons why I did not do that is because, again, that motorcycle was totaled. So I didn't really have much of anything to worry about as far as if I went through that process of doing it that way, what could I tear up? What could I damage? It didn't matter to me. But at the same time, if I was doing just an engine pull, I would have unhooked everything and then just dropped the engine out of it. But since I was doing a complete drop, I didn't see the point of hooking everything from the engine. But again, that was me by myself. 6 to 8 hours from the time first wrench in to turning the key. Depending on how you do it, with friends or with other vloggers or any other way you do it, and depending on how intrusive y'all get with doing it, which is probably going to take you a little bit longer, because not only are you trying to be less intrusive maybe, but you're also trying to do it with less damage. The way that I did it was I pulled it out the way I did, because once it's easier to change parts off that can easily get damaged in this process once the new engine is back on the bike. So I went off by taking everything off that need to be replaced, like side covers that had holes in it, hole cracks, fractures, whatever you want to call them. I did that after I replaced the entire frame. That way the motor was supported by the engine and everything else. As far as difficulty wise, I would say it's a 6 only if you're trying to rush and you're not paying attention to what you need to take off, which is with any engine drop on any kind of vehicle, really. The only thing you're gonna run into that I'm pretty sure like everyone runs into is not really disassembly. Well, really, disassembly would be if you don't keep up with where you put everything at. I mean, if you do like I did, disassembly wasn't that hard. Disassembly was like a 3 in difficulty. And that's all because of that stinking 10mm socket. But literally, that is the only thing I had. But I did it in 6 to 8 hours. I went from disassembling this bike to assembling it immediately. You're probably going to disassemble it, and then you'll have to wait for parts and things like that, and you'll have to actually focus on where you put your parts, because remembering all this little stuff that comes off of it is really, really time consuming and difficult and nerve-wracking, stressful. But what you're really going to come into is, if you do it that way, you're going to have difficulty with keeping track of everything. But I mean, like I said, that's difficulty of 3. And that's really on how you go with it, on how intrusive you go. I think the biggest issue that you might have, that I had, because I did a complete frame swap as a, I mean, like every single thing on the bike was destroyed, and all I had was the frame for the most part. So on my end of it, I had difficulty with making sure all the wires were in the right spot, because with FZ6, all of the wiring is literally tucked inside of the frame, so it's hard to remember or put wires the way they were supposed to go, or hoses or cables or everything that's supposed to go. But like overall, you're gonna have not only a fun time, man, it's gonna be so easy. Putting it back together is what's gonna be the difficult part, and that's keeping track of what you pinch, if you put it the right way. But I mean, dropping it, man, you're gonna have a heck of a time. You're gonna have a fun time doing that. Whether if you do it, even if you do it yourself, by yourself, you're gonna have loads of fun. I mean, the best part about knowing how something works is being able to work on it. Like, I have my Ram and I have my Pathfinder. My Pathfinder I can't really work on too much because it's under a forever warranty with my dealership. So I can't, powertrain limited forever warranty. So I can't do anything to the engine or the transmission or the drive or the rear drive unit at all. I can't do anything. But my CV axles in the back, my brakes, my rotors, brake fluids, brake cables, well, brake hoses, ABS, electrical, all that I can do myself. But being able to know what all this crap does and how it works and what holds it on and all that crap, I have not had to work on my RAM in months, weeks. I literally went out and bought a 2002 RAM that had issues, and it doesn't have issues. It does have one issue. There's a lope in it, but it's either because of the cam or it's because I've got electrical draw, one of the two. But that's it. There's nothing mechanically else wrong with it. I'm literally just like my motorcycle. I mean, there's absolutely nothing mechanically wrong with it. I can get on it right now, and if I put fuel, I don't really keep fuel in the bike if it's gonna sit. I don't know how long it's gonna sit because weather said it's gonna be raining all week, and then it won't rain at all. It'll only rain at night. And like, I think right now the bike's on E. I think the light's flashing actually. The only thing left on my motorcycle is cosmetics, and I mean, when I say cosmetics, I mean serious cosmetic. Actually, we will get out and we will start that. Because since I'm not online right now, I can't put out pictures of what the bike used to look like. I guess I'll make a video, because I don't know if the vlog that I did was before or after I adjusted the mic, or before or after I adjusted the camera. I don't know. But here is what's left of my bike. This is what's left of it. Mechanically, this bike is 100% mechanically sound. Took it to Yamaha, which obviously did not want to work on it. Someone put a bottle there among cigarettes. I don't even smoke. But anyway, as you can see, the seat was something I just came up with on the on eBay. Basically, because I knew I was going to get all new parts at one point, and I was just trying to get the bike mechanically sound, I basically went eBay and got everything eBay as cheap as I could, just for getting the bike road legal. Like the rim, here's the thing, this rim on this, there's a crack in that rim, but it's not in the bead, it's on the very it's like right here on the other side, which I'm not gonna go looking for. That might be it right there, I don't know. But the tire has about 30 or 20% of life on it. However, taking the tire off will damage the tire, and no one will try to take it off. I know for a fact if I take it off, it will damage it, because the only way to get it off for me to do it with my tire remover will damage it. So they won't do it. Which, I mean, it's fine, because I have a brand new rim. I have a brand spanking new rim that I've just got to, I don't even know if I got to transfer the brake over. It might actually have the rotor on it. I don't know, I got to make sure. But I have a complete setup for a wheel assembly with tire and all, waiting for this tire to wear down. And once it wears all the way down, I'll just swap it out and send that one for recycling. And then I'll be done with that. But the only thing wrong with this bike is cosmetics. And just for food for thought, this is my other. Drop a gear and disappear. Alright, this bike currently has, okay, we're on that now. It says that it has 1 bar on it, but it's gonna blink, I know it. That's trip A, trip B. It's got 17,408 miles on it. I got this bike, like I said, at 4,000 miles, 600, when he wrecked the bike. So let's go ahead and turn it on for you guys. You know, nothing's complete without a my neutral. Nope. 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 Okay. Now we're neutral. Nothing's complete without a startup. Oh yeah. Like it's got new plugs on it, new plugs in it, because they got coils, so all coils are firing. I've tested that. So again, it's all mechanically and electrically sound, literally. However, when I first got it and I got it running, the exhaust the exhaust had rocks in one, like a tube of mud, dried mud in one, blocking one side, and this is the only side running. Sounded exactly like not a dirt bike, but a moped. Oh yeah. But let me show you exactly, if I can turn it off. Let me tell you exactly what it was on my bike. Alright, you see this section here? That's the subframe. That's the subframe. I've got to rebolt it. That's where that was. Okay. I've been looking for that forever, and every time I get underneath the bike, I can't find it. Alright, that subframe bolt that goes to the main frame, and the one on this side that goes to that one, were damaged, and they were broken. So the subframe wouldn't mount to it. It wouldn't matter anyway, because the subframe was literally twisted like that anyway, but that was broken. I think on the bike that that he's got, it was cracked here. This is from me being cut off in traffic, is what that is. The other stuff's real. So other than the scuffs on that side of the frame, that was it. That's the only thing new that's from since I got the bike. And that was because I got cut off in traffic and low-sided. But I'm fine, by the way. That was bruises helping. Hey, that's what gear is for. But again, that's my bike after mechanically, I think I spent maybe $1,600 might be too high. Let's say about $1,200 to $1,300 is what I spent mechanically getting the bike to 100%. Even the Yamaha dealer told me that checking with their oil sample, they did a little oil sample thingy. Doing oil samples, and if you know, the way it ran with their computer, they said mechanically the bike is superb. It's just that if it was cosmetically, they could offer me $3 grand for it, which I thought was like, oh my god, because I paid $400 for the bike. So, but anyway, I mean, frame change is a 6 on the difficulty level. 3, removing it. The most difficult part is actually getting it back in there. I mean, a couple kicks will get something out, but it won't get it in. Hope you have fun doing it, man. Peace. ChaseonTwoWheels out.